Welcome to the Journey Success Stories podcast. I'm Jennifer Shuffle, your host for today. And I have with me Mavis Linnemann-Clark. She is the executive chef and fearless leader of the Delish Dish. Mavis, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So today we are going to be talking about her business, how she got started, her journey to business ownership, of course, the challenges along the way, but also best practices.
Sure.
Because Mavis has been through some awesome programs, and I can't wait for you guys to hear about her journey. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, definitely like and subscribe because we want to make sure that you get notifications when we have shows like this that drop each and every time. So Mavis, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here today. And I would love for you to share with everyone your journey, more about you, but also how you became a business owner here in the Cincinnati area.
Sure. How long of a story do you want? I guess that's the question.
I love it.
I'll give you the short version, which is I was a journalist in my previous life. I went to school for magazine journalism, went to Syracuse. I worked as a freelancer and in the office, and I absolutely hated being a 9-to-5 employee. It made me feel like I was going to die. So I ended up being a freelancer. So I was freelance journalism. And I went to school in Syracuse and I moved to Philadelphia. And from Philadelphia, I moved to Chicago. And in Philly, I had, they had this Italian market. I'd always loved to bake when I was a child, but I finally learned how to cook when I lived in Philly. And then when I moved to Chicago, I didn't have any friends. So I started hosting dinner parties. And since I was a freelancer, I worked from home. So I was by myself. And that's like the height of the Food Network, I guess. So I was watching Food Network all the time. And I was literally cooking. I always loved gardening. So I was just cooking basically I was like working as little as possible and cooking as much as I could.
Yeah.
And I ended up starting a cooking blog called The Kitchen Bitch. And I did that for years and gained a following. And then my friends started asking me to cater for their families when I lived in Chicago. And then one year my mom got me a canning pot for Christmas. And then I started canning as well. So making jams and jellies, those for Christmas. So then people were asking me for catering. They were buying jams for me. And my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, was like, you got to go to culinary school. And I was like, yeah, I know. I really want to. My parents were like, we just spent $1 million sending you to really expensive East Coast school. We're not paying for that. And I said, okay, I'll pay for it myself. So I ended up working full-time as a freelancer and going to culinary school at night, and catering and personal chef. And no one else in the catering program liked catering but me. I loved it. And during that time, you had to make a business plan as part of it as well. So I decided, I had always worked in restaurants as my like side gig when I was younger. I always worked in service. I worked at Bon Bonnery here. I worked at Texas Roadhouse. I worked at all these different places, and I knew I loved service. So I was like, well, it made sense for me to move home to start my catering company. My parents are Linnemann Funeral Homes here in Northern Kentucky.
Yes.
They're 5 generations of business owners. They know literally everybody in Northern Kentucky. So I was like, well, it makes more sense to start my business there. So my husband had asked me to marry him, and I said, great. Do you want to move back to Cincinnati? And he was like, I knew you were going to ask that. So I have triplet brother and sisters, and they had all started moving back here as well after college. So I decided I could be a big fish in a small pond here instead of in Chicago, where like I didn't know anybody and there's a million restaurants and food service businesses.
True.
So moved back here in 2011, finished culinary school, moved and got married within a month of each other because I like to do stuff like a crazy person, and launched my business thereafter. And so I still worked as a freelancer. I kept doing I edited academic journals and I edited a magazine called Architectural Products. And then I just spent all my free time cooking, and got my parents to introduce me to all their friends. And I ended up meeting Molly Wellman,
Yeah.
and doing some catering at Japs, when it used to have the annex. So I would do like
Mhm.
serve tacos and stuff before dance parties on the weekends. And Molly ended up connecting me to my first like big catering gig for St. Patrick's Day one year. So slowly but surely, I gained my following, and it took me many years to quit my part-time job, but I think four. It's hard to make money. And
Mhm.
so then and that's how Delish Dish ended up coming into fruition. And from there we've grown. I don't know how much more you want me to get into the growth part now, but
So I know that when you came back to Cincinnati, you also had gone through a course. At the time, it was called something else. It wasn't aviator accelerators, but tell us a little bit about that because
sure.
you already had some things kind of going on, but you still went through.
Yeah. Actually, my mom had been telling me about Bad Girl Ventures. So when I moved home, started the company, I was working out of my house.
Mhm.
And I was still working full time as a freelancer. And then I was running my catering company, and I was doing it all out of my home, and cooking for 75 people out of your apartment. Like, I had coolers everywhere. My fridge was full. Like, I was trying to do this, and I was working like 80 hours a week, right? And I
Oh,
between the two jobs. So I was like, okay, my mom's like, this will help you. So I was like, okay. So I signed up for Bad Girl Ventures, and I got to be one of the they've changed the model, but back then, like, you were
yeah.
competing for prize money. Um and I went through Bad Girl Ventures after I'd been in business for only a year, but at that point, I was just like, how do I take this to the next level? So, Bad Girl Ventures was instrumental for me because I never wrote a business plan. I just did it. So, when I went through it was basically like me getting my MBA in 3 months, right? Do all the things that I hadn't done yet. And that's when I had a mentor. He wasn't my favorite, and I ended up getting another one at the end of the program. And Carlin Stam was my mentor for like 10 years. Love him. He's retired now. We're still friends and have lunch together. And, he's 85. He doesn't need to be my mentor anymore, but he was amazing to me. And I still know so many of the women through that program. That
Yeah.
was instrumental to me in getting out of my house. And I ended up meeting Rachel DeRochers, who was getting ready to launch an incubator kitchen here in Covington. And I was like, great, get me out of my house. So I kind of moved in as her anchor tenant, so that I was finally out of my house and cooking somewhere else. And with Bad Girl Ventures, I figured out, okay, here's when I needed, I was drowning. I needed to hire people to help me.
Yeah.
Which is what I always tell people. Like, if you own a business and you feel like you're drowning, you need to hire an employee. Like, no matter what you say, hire somebody to help you. It'll make your life so
Yes.
much better. And so, yeah. And from there, Bad Girl Ventures just really gave me a plan and a path forward and the confidence that I needed. And I still support that program. It's a little different now. But Jill Morenez is doing an awesome job. She now runs Aviatra.
Mhm.
Um, Missed the name. The other name was better, but that's my personal opinion. I'll
I
always be a
did.
bad girl in my heart.
Yeah.
Um,
I did like the name Bad Girl Ventures. Not gonna lie.
yeah, it was a good one.
So for those listeners that are joining us,
Yes.
it's really, really cool. When I had my grand opening, I featured aviator accelerators and gave back to the program and even featured a lot of our Bad Girl Venture slash aviator accelerator women owned businesses.
Yeah.
And I had the privilege of having Mavis actually cater my event. And she does such a great job. So if you have an event coming up, do not hesitate. Definitely reach out and have Mavis do your event. And as a matter of fact, we have our 90-day planning session coming up, and she's doing it too. So I'm so blessed to have her as part of my journey. So you guys need her to be part of your journey too.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Of course.
And having other women-owned businesses not only to support your business, but then with Batgirl, well, Aviatra, just having that community because
Yes.
entrepreneur is so lonely. And I was already a freelancer and then an entrepreneur, and I was like, oh my God, I'm just like by myself all the time. So it's so important to have that community and just to lift you up.
Absolutely. Completely agree. So 5 years from now, you've
Mhm.
arrived. What does the Delish Dish look like?
5 years from now. Well, there's a lot of things I'm putting into place now that I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to evolve. And I haven't decided my exact next step, but I'm formulating a bunch of different options. Um, I have just invested in I'm hiring a fractional CFO and I hired a fractional sales team manager who is really
Nice.
revitalized my sales team. And we're like 3 months ahead of schedule on our sales for the year. So we're just gonna crush it. So as we're growing, for me, I have a 3 and a 5 year old. And so this last year, once they were 2 and 4, I was like, okay, I've got to get back to growing my business. And because I just kind of sustained it while you're a mom with two little kids,
Right.
So
Yes.
now that I'm kind of a year into, I did this goes into my 5 year plan, but I did Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program this past
Excellent.
spring. And that was really cool because I could come up with a growth plan.
Yeah.
And that was for me getting back into my community, meeting people, trying to figure out my next steps. So I'm going to do some of that plan. So I'm going to have I'm hoping to launch it this year. We'll see. This has been our busiest month of ever. So it's kind of hasn't been the time for me to launch a new program, but um, I'm going to have an online ordering, basically a Delish Dish to go. So it'll kind of be much
Excellent.
easier. My sales team won't have to sell to you all the time. And you can kind of pick, like, oh, I just need platters, cookies and sandwiches and barbecue. And you'll be able to go on an online order and pick up. You'll need like 5 days
Nice.
notice to do that. So that's halfway. I redid the website last fall. So now it's ready to handle these online orders. So I've just got to like build that out.
Yeah.
But I would also, one of my big dreams is I would like to offer Delish Dish as a middle to high end. We're completely custom caterer. And what my next dream is I want to have another smaller, more cost effective, budget friendly, completely different catering company, basically.
Ah,
That
nice.
would be, so it would be, for Delish Dish is out of budget, great. We'll send you to my another company, which I'm working on the name. But so that's sort of my dream is to have, Delish Dish is growing exponentially and I want to grow Delish Dish to $5 million company, but I would love to have another branch basically where we can
Mhm.
handle all the things that Delish Dish is out of range for. So that, you know what I mean? Have a
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Be able to have the same quality of food, but
Mm.
maybe not as many ingredients and not as fancy, but like
Yes.
simple, stuff for people who can't maybe afford Delish Dish, but want that style of food.
Yeah. So the jams and jellies, you kind of like brushed over this,
Yeah.
but it's so cool to walk into Kroger and see your jellies and jams on the end cap at Kroger. And
I'm
so,
not at Kroger anymore. I'm actually
oh,
close.
they're not?
Made
I
by Mavis.
remember.
I was part of Kroger Buys Local campaign. God, that was a while ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And
Was it really?
yeah, it's been a while. I've been in business for 13 years now, so that was probably maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
So, and as we've gotten bigger, my jam business has gotten smaller. And as ingredients have gotten more expensive, I mean, my
Mhm.
jars alone cost me more than $1 to buy a jar. So, I can't really raise my jam prices anymore.
Yeah.
And basically at the beginning of this year, the end of last year, I had to make the decision that I'm going to close Made by Mavis. We're still
Oh,
gonna make,
I'm so
I know, I
sorry.
haven't really announced it because I'm just selling the jam until it's gone because I still have jam. And we'll still make the jam in-house to put in all of our food. Like we still
Right.
like I still
It's
buy
on
make gallons of
catering.
it.
Yes.
I make gallons of it still. But like so Delish Dish, when Delish Dish was smaller, made by Mavis was a nice, like from a business perspective, was like an extra little, I could sell and make some money off of it. But
Yeah.
now what I have to pay people to sell it at markets, what I have to pay the market, what I have to pay for the
Mhm.
jam, and what I can charge for the jam. And now, maybe last year we did 15 or $20,000 in sales, but I did 101,250,000 in catering. Like there's just no point. It was taking up
Yeah.
time for us. So it was a hard decision. It's my baby. I love that baby. But I've been selling jam for 10 years. I still have it. If you want to buy it, I have a nice collection left that I will sell through the holidays. Basically, I was going to have like a fire sale in December. Get it out of it.
So,
Or now, come buy it.
right.
As I'm telling people, I have people be like, I need 6 of these jars and 6 of that. I love having the jam company. It was awesome. 10, how many years? I don't know, 11 or 12 years of it. It just doesn't make financial sense for me to do it anymore.
No, that makes
You know.
total sense. But these are those pieces of business ownership that you learn along the way, right?
Right.
It's part of
Right.
the journey.
Oh yeah. For
It's you got to diversify to really continue to fly.
Correct. And for me, to make jam a profitable thing, I would need to sell thousands and thousands of jars of jam in order to
Mhm.
like break even and get that, to make any money. And when you wholesale, you literally make no money on it
Right.
because Kroger takes thing and then the distributor takes a thing and then you are, and you're just like, and they don't want to pay whatever I can, in California, I could sell a $12 jar of jam or $14 jar of jam. I can't
For
do
New York.
that here, you know?
So you had talked earlier about being in Chicago. Do you still cater or have any kind of clientele outside of the Cincinnati area, or what does that look like?
No, those are all my friends then, and a lot of them have moved and live in different locations or don't live in the city or
Mhm.
I go to Chicago, I don't know, once every year or two now. I mean, I still have friends there, but
Yeah.
I don't have clients outside of there.
Okay. All right. So you had talked about hiring a team. How many
Mhm.
employees do you have now?
Um, I have 17 full-time and 35 or 40 part-time.
Wow.
And those are
So
attendants and bartenders and people who help us out at all on weekends.
yeah. So do you still partner with Molly from time to time?
I see Molly would be hired out by someone else and then I would see her. So
Yeah.
she doesn't own Japs anymore. And they don't even have their event space anymore. So 3CDC
Mhm.
owns that now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a complete different business plan.
Yes.
But that's also part of the journey. You got to be flexible.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be able to ebb and flow with what's coming your way and what makes the most amount of sense. So, with 35 to 40 part time employees, 17 full time employees, what does that look like day to day?
I do the schedule. I kind of love it. I like a good puzzle. Putting together the schedule with everyone, as anyone who has employees know, everyone has lots of requirements. And I try very hard to accommodate as much as I can. However, it's busy season, so you also have to stick with me. My team's a little dragging right now. We're ready for July, but day to day, like today, we had events all weekend. We had a big party for Metro yesterday for all their bus drivers at Music
Yeah.
Hall. Today we have another 150 person. Um, what is today? It's like a net their open house at I don't even know what it is. I'm always a week ahead of everybody else. I'm like, I'm in next week because I do the schedule, so I'm always planning ahead.
Yeah.
But so like this week, like today's Tuesday. So even though we have a big event tonight, there's a lot of people off today because we had so many people in yesterday and all weekend. We had weddings and we catered for the German soccer team on Friday, which is really fun.
Fun.
So like today we'll have, not as many people in. And then as we get up for the weekend, we have a huge wedding and we're catering for Pride as well. So everyone will be in, basically all 17 of us will be in Wednesday through Saturday and Sunday.
Right. Yeah, because we have the parade on Saturday.
Yeah, and we're dropping off food at Gateman's Cove at we're doing the VIP for Pride, so I think
Yes.
11 to drop off all the stuff there. And then we have a huge wedding as well as some other things happening that day. So
I love it. Never a dull moment.
never a dull moment. I know they called us for Pride and I was like, okay, we'll do it. Because I did not want to do it, so
Yeah, it's a
we'll
fun
figure
event.
it out.
Right, right. Well, and what you're touching on is something that's very important. So I want to ask, what advice would you give to other business owners, especially if they're just starting out?
Sure. About specifically staffing?
So, no, just in general, like what would be the biggest advice that you give to other business owners?
Um, know your books. I feel like that's a really hard thing for people, and people
I
don't like
agree.
to pay attention to the money. And as I went through things like the Goldman Sachs program, it's amazing how much people have no idea what their finances look like. And
Mhm.
why are you in business? But or I feel like a lot of these people who want to say have a small business and stay a small business, which is totally fine. But if you're gonna be
Mhm.
that, you gotta pay attention to everything that's going in,
Oh,
going out, and make it worth why do it if you're not making any money? That's kind of I love this job. I love my job and I love catering and it's absolutely batshit crazy. But and it's not for everybody, and that's fine.
no.
But
Right.
um, it's just so important. Well, I don't do it for fun, even though I love it. Do you know what I mean? I do it to make my living and so that I can go
Yeah.
and
But the reason why I asked is you just touched on, you know what? Let's do it because it's fun.
right.
So there are times when I know I do this. There might be certain things that I'll add on just because I know it's going to be fun and it's going to motivate me and push my team to continue to thrive forward.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we're just like burnout and just taking that one more thing, that's also part of just business ownership and really getting you to another level too.
Right, right. Like for instance, there's going to be the American River Roots Festival
Yes.
coming up, and I got the call to potentially do all the catering for the crew and the VIPs.
Nice.
And I was like, we're blacked out, but I called my chef and I was like, what do you think? She's like, and my new chef used to own a catering company in Miami. So she did the Latin catering
Mm.
and a lot of production catering. She's like, production catering, we can do it. So I'm hoping to win this, but I might have already blacked out. Yeah. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna figure it out because I really want
Right.
it to be sweet business and it's a one and done. And if for 3 days I'm crazy, my daughter's on fall break and I was gonna take off, but now if I win this, I mean, we're gonna get a babysitter.
Right.
So
Yes.
it is. But so sometimes you just got to. Now there's other times where I'm like, thank God I didn't win that. I really wanted to, but sweet Jesus, I'm glad I didn't do that. What was I thinking? I wasn't ready. But I wouldn't know if I wasn't ready if I didn't try and make the plan to do it. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, some of it is, and I feel like just getting up, some days, like at the end of this year, I have a new chef. I basically have a really new team, and they're doing
Ooh.
amazing. But at the end of last year, I was like, why do I own a business? What am I going to do? I don't want to have this business anymore. And that happens to people all the time, right? And then you just have to it's at the end of my busy season that I'm always just like, why do I do this to myself? But I survived December. I mean, imagine December for a caterer is I can't wait for Christmas. Just give me the
Yes.
and I'm still have to do Christmas because I'm mom, right? So but yeah, so
Yeah.
sometimes you're not gonna want to do it, but then you just gotta wallow for a little bit and then pick yourself up and now I'm ready to go again.
I love that. So you had mentioned earlier that having a mentor was very instrumental, especially in getting started and going.
Yeah.
Do you
Mhm.
still have a mentor coach, or what does that look like for you
I
right now?
do. I do have a mentor. So Carlin Stam was my mentor, and he introduced me to Kelly, who is my new. She's also from SCORE. I love SCORE. I'm a big proponent of SCORE. Free mentors. and you can, if you don't like who you got, ask for a new one. But I don't use a mentor as much as I did, to be
Mm.
honest. I mean, now when I have to make a big decision, I'll probably call them and be like, hello, what do you think about this? Or I'll say, am I crazy or am I correct?
Yeah.
But I still use my mentor. My dad also owns Linnemann Fair Home, so I talk to him about things as
Hmm.
well. My mom also helped run the company. But now I'm very lucky to also to have my sales team manager who is also a friend, and she was also a business owner, Rachel Jones.
Yes.
She used to own
Yeah.
the same team. So
Yeah.
she works full time as a salesperson and then does sales team coaching on the side. So she's been awesome, and I'd run a lot of stuff past her too. So it's good to
Nice.
have peers who understand you, um,
Hmm.
and who can tell you the truth. Like I'm someone who like, just tell me and then I'll fix
Yes.
it. I'm not like, this is my idea. Like, that's not you gotta just be open about it.
Yeah.
And, free flowing, I guess. And I think the biggest thing for most business owners, and I keep running into this with people, is letting go of control. Like, you just have to do it. I ran into this woman. I went to a catering workshop in Indianapolis, and this woman
Hmm.
was like 65, and she was going to 3 events every weekend, and she said she couldn't not do the events, and she couldn't, her sales team couldn't ask people for reviews. I'm like, what? Like, I was like, don't you want to retire? Go play with your grandbabies. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I just, if people just have a hard time, I was like, bro, you gotta let go of this control. Like,
Yes.
you let people, and it's so hard. I understand.
Hmm.
It's hard, but like once you do it, you're like, damn, they really got this. If you
Yeah.
have the right people and you groom them, and sometimes it takes a long time for them to be ready to do it, but training sucks. Everyone thinks training sucks. Great. But then once the training is done, the training is done.
Yeah. So we coach to buy back your time so
Yeah,
then you can invest into
correct.
your team because they do require a lot of time,
Yeah,
especially in order to do it accurately because you have to create the process. What's our standard? How are you going to measure the team? So having 17 full-time people as well as tons of part-time,
yeah,
like you got to be on your A game and you got to have that system.
yeah.
So what is the key to success for you?
Um, the key to success for me is, well, one, I'm a really good multitasker, which some people would say that's not a good thing, but um, but I feel like it's finding the right people to put in place and help you get, it took me, like, my sister gets jealous of me sometimes, and I'm like, girl, I worked my ass off. I still work my ass off, but after 13 years, I can just do kind of what I want because I've put all this stuff into place so that I can do it, like
Yeah.
I work when
Yeah.
I need to, and I might have to work on the weekend or I might not have to work on the weekend, but
Yes.
I think it's success for me is putting in seeing the vision and then slowly putting in the pieces to make that vision come to where it is. I'm a gardener. I love to garden. And this is why I'm an entrepreneur too. No one else knows what it's going to look like, but I have a vision. And my mom's like, man, you have a green thumb. I'm like, I'm good at this. And I'm good at entrepreneur. And it's because I'm patient, and where like stuff takes a while to bloom, right? Like it's just like
Yes.
my sales team. Like one of my sales team girls, I used to have a sales team manager, and she's like, she's not good at this job. Like, it's not this. And then that girl left and I took over. And now Lauren is like my right hand. Like, she's amazing. She does everything. She's a go-getter. She gets it done. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
why? So sometimes you have to trust your own gut and not listen to it. There's always, you have these employees, but you also got to listen to them and not listen to them. And
Yes.
there's a mix of that.
Yes.
Sometimes they're not thinking how you want them to think, but so yeah, so it's cultivating who you think is, and investing in who you think is going to do. And when I invest in these people, then they stay and help me grow this, and then they're pumped about it too.
Absolutely. Because they're part of that vision and you've let them in
Right, correct.
and they're building it alongside with you. It's a
Yes.
very powerful thing. I
Yeah.
love that. So, what is a book or podcast that you're reading or listening to right now?
I listen to a lot of books. So do what genre? I've listened to 10 books this month. I've read or listened to 10 books already. I've read 50 books this year. So tell me, do you want business?
I would say the one that has most inspired you, whether it's fiction or not, or whatever.
Okay, so in terms of um this is one that I'm giving to basically everyone on my team.
Okay.
And it's called Unreasonable Hospitality. And it's Will Jadara, and he used to be the owner of 11 Madison Park, which um was rated as one of the top restaurants in the world.
Hmm.
So I had my Lauren, who I was just talking about, read the book too, and now they're all passing it around. And she's like, she called me. Basically, the point is that and it made her pumped about service because, like,
Cool.
we're a service-based business and our clients are annoying and all this stuff. But if we can find little things to take it up, like just above and beyond, and to help people, those are the things that make us outstanding. So, for instance, she was at an event 2 weeks ago and she called me and I was like, what's wrong? Because no one calls me at an event. And she was like, nothing. I just want to do my unreasonable hospitality. This lady is allergic to garlic and everything has garlic. Can I go buy her a dinner from Yard House? And I said, absolutely, Lauren. So she went to Yard House and she was like, guys, I need whatever you have that's without garlic. And she got them an entire dinner, bought it, took it back, and the lady cried. Because she was like, I didn't think that, you know what I mean? I thought she wasn't going to eat because all she had was salad. So that's like a little thing that we can do that no one's going to remember. Like, they might not remember the buffet dinner, but they're always going to remember that she took the time to leave the venue, go down the street, buy her recipe for a restaurant, and come back. And
Yes.
so that book is, I mean, the things that they have a way bigger budget than we do. But some of them are things that, people would, like, he heard some people at the restaurant talking about how the only thing they didn't get to have was a hot dog, like from a cart. So he went out and he got hot dog from a local hot dog vendor, brought it back, and had the chef make it into a deconstructed New York hot dog and brought it to the table. And the people freaked out. And he's like, that didn't cost him anything, right? It cost him $2, but they just loved it. So this book, I just love this book. It reinforced for me why I love hospitality and why I love service. And like my family does Linnemann funeral homes, so that's a whole different kind of service.
Yes.
Same, but like it's very intense and very I just say I work with the living. but those are things that my dad always had a thing that said, going down into the funeral home, that's like, serve your best today or whatever. And I think for people, the team loves that they have the ability. I'm like, yeah, go do that. That's fine. Make them. So that book is really awesome. I highly recommend it for service-based business or not.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that wow factor is very instrumental. And a lot of people just do not even realize it. It doesn't matter what you do. You need to make sure that people feel heard, feel seen and appreciated,
Yes.
because that's what's going to move the needle. Because maybe they don't need you now, but they may need you in the future. And
Right.
by God, they're going to remember how you made them feel.
Right. Exactly. They're
And
going to
especially if it wasn't good.
Right.
But if you went above and beyond, and they will remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
That was a book that I just found very awesome. I'm actually reading a parenting book right now that I'm like, this is great. I've like highlighted it for my husband to read later. Like this 3 and 5-year-old are arguing all the time. So I'm like, okay, and I'm like sick of yelling at everybody. So I'm like, okay, this is a better way. So, and I feel like I can use the things from this child parenting book with my stuff.
Yeah. That's so true. Yes. Yes.
They're all my
Yes.
adult children, I say. So
Yes. Well, when I started running departments in my prior life, and parenting really gives you some insight into how to manage your teams.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh,
really does.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I have a cranky redhead husband, so I'm really good with chefs as well.
That's awesome.
I'm very good. I'm like the calm at home and I'm the calm here too. So
That's great. I love it.
solve the problem.
So here's kind of a fun question for you.
Okay.
If you were to take a little bit of magic dust and sprinkle it over any part of the business, what would it be?
Oh. What would it be? What I'm trying to do is figure out how I get myself. I have a sales team manager, but I still review almost every proposal that goes out the door. So that's like 75 a month. And I'm trying to figure out the sales teams, they know how to do it. My editor brain from copy editing as a journalist means that I'm very good detail oriented when I'm reading stuff. So like I just catch stuff that people don't catch. So I'm trying to figure out if I could sprinkle fairy dust and figure out that's how I'm trying to take it to the next level. And I haven't figured out how to get myself there yet. But I'm on my way. I'm working on setting up that system, but the sales team manager helps so I don't have to do the weekly check-ins and stuff, but I'm trying to just figure out how to make it so I can just do high level. That's what
Yes. I love this. And I think that would be something great that we could easily work on together. I love that.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure it out. It's a harder one but they're so close, but I want to see the $30,000 wedding, but I don't really care about. They can mostly do their small ones, but I'm like anything over $3,000 I look at, generally speaking, but
That makes sense. Having
Yeah.
a certain threshold that you're going to at least investigate.
Yeah, that's helped. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So before we get into our last question for today, how can people reach out to you? Because they need you to
Sure.
cater their event that's coming up. So Mavis, tell people, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah. Go to our website, thedelishdish.com, and we have an awesome request a quote form, or you can also call and talk to our sales team people, although they'll probably tell you to submit a request a quote because it's easiest for us to have all the details in one email. But you can call us too. And our sales team is very responsive. We're usually back as long as it's a weekday. We're back within 24 hours. And on the weekends, we check all of our emails on Monday and answer all those requested quotes.
Awesome. So is there a particular like Facebook or website to go to kind of learn more and to kind of get a little bit of, hey, this is what Delish Dish does?
Yeah, thedelishdish.com, or you can find us on Facebook as well as on Instagram at the Delish Dish, I believe. I don't manage my social media.
Nor should you.
I crossed that off the list. I did not want to do that.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
No, you're next. New sales team person, you're up. I should probably hire someone else, but that's okay.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
All right. So what is most inspiring to you today?
Most inspiring to me?
Yeah.
Just in general?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I went to this catering workshop in Indy, and this guy, his company is called Nameless Catering, but he has 3 catering companies now, and he's the one who his food is not the same as mine. His like big brand is like a step down from mine, and then he has an even cheaper one, and he's working on a higher one, but he was kind of an inspiration to me because he just launched the other 2, but I was like, this is a genius idea. And I'm just going to be normally what, like his regular catering company is like what my cheap catering company would be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's trying to do that. So, and he does like $7 million a year of like drop off crazy stuff. So I was like, okay, I've got to get on the cheap game. Because I'm custom, I do there's so much work and hand holding and all of that jazz. And I love that part of it because that's our service. But I would love to have an operation. So that inspired me, which is where I have my vision to do this, more budget friendly catering company with a really limited menu. No custom, guys. Call Delish Dish for that.
I love it.
But I feel like there's a market for that here because
Mhm.
it's like there's like Jimmy John's and then there's like, you know what I mean, more there's just not that many like
No.
really, like good cheap catering here. So that's my dream because people love our food. Like the DJ was like, I've catered 30 weddings this year on my wedding on Saturday. He's like, this is the best wedding food I've ever had. And I said, thank you. It's because we make it all in house. But we work really hard for it to be amazing because we don't want crappy wedding food, right? We don't need like fried
Mhm.
chicken on a dish. That's never my dream. So, um, so yeah, so that's what's key. That really inspired me, that trip. I have so many ideas and things. So it's me trying to figure out how to execute it.
That is awesome. I love that story so much. So, this was a great conversation. I really
Thank you.
enjoyed hearing your story, your past, as well as things that you've had to do in order to pivot along the way. So, thank you for sharing.
Lots of pivoting. Yeah, of course.
So,
Mhm.
I encourage all of you who are watching, save this show, come back to it, watch it again, because Mavis really did had some great insights and some really cool advice for individuals who are also business owners. And of course, go to the delishdish.com, check her out because she does do a really remarkable job and she is phenomenal. And the team's easy to deal with too. So that goes a long way too.
Yeah.
So, of course, don't
I'm
forget.
happy to help anyone if they have business questions for food service businesses.
Oh, that's super sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
So don't forget to, of course, like and subscribe so you can get notifications whenever we have a new show drop, just like this one. And thanks to everyone who joined us today and listened to Mavis and her story. So, of course, Mavis, thanks for being with us today.
So much for having me, Jennifer.
Of course, thank you.